Hello and welcome. Today I'm in the tier 8 Japanese carrier, the Shoukaku. I know that I said that I don't really play carriers anymore, but after making that video and then talking to Reita about carriers a little bit, I felt like playing carriers again today for some reason, so well I just did that. And I have 2 matches today. I will be uploading another video sometime after this one that will also be a Shoukaku, and it's actually on the same map, I think. So, I launched torpedo bombers first, fight the second, and dive bombers third. And I have been thinking about it. Maybe it's better to launch dive bombers first. I guess it depends on the match you get. Because obviously fighters don't need to be first, because enemies don't always bring their planes around. And you know, you don't really want to go looking for them on the in the enemy territory because, you know, their ship NTR is going to bother you, etc, etc. So, I don't feel like fighters shouldn't be first, they should be second. I don't think they should be third, but they should be second. But the question is whether you want to launch torpedo bombers or dive bombers first, and I'm thinking that torpedo bombers first are good if you want to strike destroyers. But dive bombers are better if you want to strike battleships or cruisers, because if you strike a cruiser, they might use defensive fire on the dive bombers. If they do, you can do a torpedo bomber follow-up and it'll be like usually an easy kill. And on battleships it's good because if you get the fire and they repair the fire, you can strike them with torpedo bombers as a follow-up, and that would cause a full duration flooding, well, a full cooldown duration flooding. A full damage control party cooldown duration flooding, so like 80 seconds at the maximum. Which is going to do a lot more damage than your stacking fires will. So doing it that way is actually pretty useful. Anyways, I noticed on the minimap that the enemy is coming in with his torpedo bombers, or you know, planes. It's another Shoukaku, so I brought my fighters over, but they were a little late. I tried strafing, but unfortunately I kinda screwed up. I still caught... No, I didn't even catch a tail end of the torpedo bombers, but the enemy actually screwed up here a little bit. So I tried to, you know, strafe the enemy fighters down, and because of this I should definitely win the air superiority battle over there. And, well, he lost all his planes, all his fighters. I lost only 1 squadron and 1 plane from the other one. Unfortunately, this New Mexico doesn't appear to want to actually repair his fire. So I'm gonna just do a follow-up with my second dive bomber squadron to essentially refresh the fire and hopefully make him use Damacon. And then I will do a torpedo bomber follow-up. Only 1 fire though, that is a bit unfortunate, but actually, you know, that Fubuki seems to be going for the New Mexico, and that guy doesn't seem to want to repair the fire. One thing I don't like is that I am used to playing at fully zoomed out. Otherwise, you know, I'm not quite used to how fast or how slowly the camera moves around. And it's unfortunate because I can't always tell easily whether a ship is on fire or not without seeing their health bar. And I don't really recognize the health bar thing. Like, I might recognize movement, but on a battleship that might actually be a heal instead of you know, HP ticking down, and I would have to compare numbers, and that's a bit slower. So my plan here is right now, because I noticed that this Bismarck seems to be solo in the 8-cap, and I noticed that he started turning in right now. So what I would like to do is torp him with 1 torpedo bomber, and then torp him with another one. Unfortunately, because of the way or where my planes are, I'm not quite certain if I can get this, especially with this float plane interrupting. Because right now, if he starts turning exactly towards my torpedo bombers, the problem is that the angle the ship is going to come at is very, very poor for dropping. And because those planes are there, I wanted to drop as quickly as possible, but unfortunately this drop is really, really poor for that. So what ends up happening is that the Bismarck dodges all of the torpedoes, unfortunately. It's okay though, I have a follow-up of the second torpedo bomber squadron. This time I definitely know that he has, you know, a float plane, and I also know that he's going to be locked into his turn. Not to mention I still have a dive bomber follow-up if I need it. And hopefully I'll be able to hit a few of these, and that would be very useful. But basically, after talking to Reite about carriers, it seems like a very important idea to strike lower tier ships and deal a lot of damage to them, and you deal a lot of damage to them by causing damage over time effects. The alpha strikes are good, but they're not the most important one. The damage over time effects are far more important, because they actually force people to run away and similar things. Not to mention they end up dealing a lot more damage. One thing I don't like is this bug where the drop circle becomes small still hasn't been fixed for float planes. It's good for carriers, but it's annoying that, you know, it is definitely a bug. It probably shouldn't exist, I think. But for some reason it does. Anyways, that Bismarck should be burning down now. And I will try using my last dive bomber to try to strike this Tirpitz, but the problem is that she is next to a Cleveland, and the Cleveland might use defensive fire. Although, let's be honest, it's a bit of a waste to use defensive fire on a single squadron. Unfortunately, this float plane is being super annoying, but, you know, I just take the chance anyway. Because last time the bug worked out, this time I guess it doesn't. It's alright, I guess. Okay, the Bismarck is still alive, and my fire has stopped working, so I guess I kinda screwed up that one. I don't actually know where the enemy is going to go, but I tried to block the seaside with my planes for their strike. And, well, it seems the Cleveland has activated defensive fire, but the problem is that even if I know that the Cleveland has defensive fire up, I can't turn around and run away because I might just lose all my planes anyway, and that's kind of a waste. So the enemy carrier is coming over and onto this side. I tried doing a strafe, but you know, I don't know what I was thinking there. That just didn't seem to work out nicely. And for some reason the enemy carrier still hasn't learned their lesson, and he still clumps up all his fighters like that, and so lets me just strafe them. And unfortunately, while I was doing that, I wasn't paying attention to my torpedo bombers, and I lost 2 of them. This is something I don't like about playing carriers, is that you need to pay attention to your planes a lot. If you are like negligent for like a second or 2, you are punished so heavily for it. It's really annoying, especially considering if a plane goes AFK, like you don't give it any orders. Also, I hit that Tirpitz in that smoke, I think. If you don't give it any orders, what happens is that the planes start doing these huge circles, and they will stop being together. It's incredibly annoying. Also, that Scharnhorst like expected me to completely defend him from air cover. Like at first I thought, okay, he said thanks carrier, like he means it because you know, I was there with my fighters, but soon he follows up with a comment that makes me understand that no, he was being sarcastic. Okay, so I see a fully alone Gneisenau, so I try to dive bomb him first. Now I will wait until he uses Demicon, and then I will dive bomb him again. He says no help at sea. Well, maybe you shouldn't have been at sea if you have literally no help. Or if that comment is towards me, then I'm sorry, but you know, it's more important for the team and me for the torpedo bombers to die rather than try to save you while you're doing something stupid. Because a person that, sure, he was being aggressive, which is nice, I guess, in a battleship, but he was alone. And you really cannot do that alone. At least if you do that, you should be able to deal with carriers yourself. So I got a fire on the Gneisenau. Now I'm gonna do a torpedo bomber follow-up. I will keep the dive bomber around to, you know, eat the float plane, but, you know, the float plane already died to, I don't know what the hell they call it. I screwed up on the initial drop on the torpedo bombers, but it worked out on the second one more or less, I guess. Although the angle could have been a lot better on that one. and I wouldn't have needed to deal with so many other things. So now I'm angling the second group. I'm not actually sure if I need it, because he is burning and flooding. He might just die to this anyway, but because I lost so many torpedo bombers here, I might as well just drop. I do a very long range drop, because I think that if I take too much time in this anti-air cover, it's not going to work out. And I think I actually led way too much. Yeah, see, that last torpedo is probably not gonna hit. Yep, see, that last one missed. And our Bismarck dies here. That's okay. I will bring my dive bomber over here, or at least I want to bring my dive bomber over here. Unfortunately, I ordered the wrong one. I ordered the empty dive bomber to move here as well. I want to kill that battleship. The Gneisenau will definitely expire here. Okay. I don't know how definitely it is, but it should expire. And at this point I will try to move my fighter somewhere towards my ships so that the enemy Shoukaku can't freely strike them. And well, there goes the Gneisenau. Did somebody else kill it? I guess it did. Okay, so yeah, that Scharnhorst is definitely mad because I didn't save his ass completely. I don't understand. Like, you can't do this thing. You cannot expect the CV to hold your hand at all situations. If the enemy brings fighters, those fighters are the priority. Because sure, in a short game, that's not the most useful thing, but obviously this isn't a short game. Okay, so I see these torpedo bombers going for the battleship that's near our spawn, and I will try to intercept them some way. So I tried to strafe, but it went okay, I guess. And I will try to strafe the dive bombers down as well. I do a stupid head-on strafe. Wasn't quite useful, but I guess it's okay. Click on that one squadron, click on the other one, and I was paying attention to the other planes. Unfortunately, I have lost my torpedo bombers already, so I will have to make you and this Gneisenau drop. Hey, come on. He seems to be playing with his speed, and because it's only one plane, I try to drop far away to try to maximize the chance of it, but actually I'm kinda screwing up with my planes, the fighters anyway. But it's okay, I can't do a follow-up over here because of where the island is. If I wanted to go, I would have to make a huge circle around the Gneisenau. So instead of it, I'm just going to pull back and wait until he just comes around the island here. Although, you know, that drop isn't going to go all that well either, because I only have one plane there left as well, but it should be okay. Maybe I'll get a flooding, that would definitely help. But I'm not quite certain if I can. Well, I still have a dive bomber follow-up, and we are actually ahead, I think. Sure, they have a Benson and a Gneisenau, but they are both low HP, so they will lose two ships very, very quickly, and I don't really see what they can do all that much about it. I still have fighters to try to cover my team. I'm not actually certain if this drop actually makes any sense, but I guess it's better to just try to finish it off immediately before she gets another salvo off, just in case. Since, you know, they have two destroyers and a carrier, and the chance of actually hitting a destroyer with like 2 or 3 dive bombers is just so low. I don't think it's worth it. I order my ship to go towards the B cap because they only have carriers and destroyers left, and the thing is with destroyers that if I keep a plane straight above one, I will know whether they torpedo me, and it's not like I'm afraid of a Mitsuki's guns. Benson yes, but Mitsuki no. And I will try to keep the Benson spotted for the... oh, never mind, Benson died. Good job, battleship, good job. So now it's time to go spot the Mitsuki, and I will be heading towards the B cap. Hopefully I will run into the Mitsuki and try to dodge his torpedoes. My fighters need to go to protect that one battleship that's heading towards the C cap, that's important. We still have 5 minutes left. They have the Mitsuki and the carrier. I believe the Mitsuki isn't going to be very instrumental at this point, because I should be able to perma-spot her, and I'll try to defend the battleship from the carrier. Okay, so there's the Mitsuki. I tried to do this one torpedo bomber drop. The chance of this hitting is just so low, but you know, I have to try. Not to mention it actually occupies the Mitsuki's time by making her turn, etc. Like, if her plan was to go for the battleship at B, right now that's completely interrupted because, you know, he has to deal with where my plane is. I tried doing a torpedo bomb drop, but I slightly screwed up. I should have led slightly more, and as you can see, it's very, very close, but it still missed. Okay, so my fighters are finally around the, what's the tier 6 German battleship? Bayern. I'm swapping with my dive bomber, and I will be spotting the Mitsuki again to keep it spotted for the battleship. And sorry, Mihalia, but this is going on YouTube. Sorry, and the game even happened today, so yeah, instant regrets, I guess. Okay, so the drop didn't work, obviously. Yes, I could try to do a manual drop. I don't expect that to work. I keep my dive bomber around because, you know, it keeps the destroyer spotted and it will spot any torpedoes. And I will try to hunt the enemy Shoukaku's strike planes down. And as you can see right now, by the way, the enemy carrier has run out of fighters. This is why I can try to keep defending the Bayern, otherwise I couldn't. Because, you know, my fighters would be busy fighting his fighters. But right now, because he is out of planes, I can do it. I do a flimsy drop, but you know, that didn't go very well. Unfortunately, I actually screwed up here with the torpedo bombers. I let this one slip through because I was paying attention elsewhere. I tried doing a strafe, but unfortunately I kind of screwed up. Luckily though, the drop was from really far away, so I will try to strafe this dive bomber squadron because I know that he's gonna go in. This one actually came out really nicely. Like, I knew he was going to drop, so I strafed, and this one worked really, really well. The torpedo bomber one I definitely screwed up, but you know, can't be perfect, especially considering how little practice I have. So I'll try doing the same again, and it works out again very nicely on the dive bomber. But now I'm out of ammunition on both of them, so I tried to make both retreat, but I decided actually no. It's better if I keep that one fighter squadron around, the one with a little bit ammo, because it can spot and, you know, it might be important at some point. Also, the Mitsuki was dealt with. Actually, I was being a bit careless here, because I wasn't paying attention to the Mitsuki and I was paying attention to the Bayern instead. And it was careless because if the Mitsuki had torpedoed me, I might have unwittingly sailed into them. Although, let's be honest, I have 51,000 HP. I would have to take quite a few of those torpedoes to actually die. Okay, so, well, there's the torpedo bomber incoming. I was thinking of actually strafing here, but, you know, that thought of actually strafing came so late that I had already clicked on the plane. And unfortunately that meant that, you know, it was already over. I will now try to bring my one dive bomber and one torpedo bomber in for an attack on the carrier both at the same time. So that I can minimize the amount of time the anti-air is being shot at both planes. I will bring the torpedo bomber over to the side and then the dive bomber on the other side. We have actually all three cap zones, so we pretty much have won this game unless the carrier like detonates our Bayern or something. No, actually even then the game's over. We have definitely won this one. So good job, battleships. That capping was very well done. By the way, I've been thinking that maybe the game should actually reward doing things early on in the game rather than later. Anyways, let's try to do a torpedo bomber drop and dive bomber drop. It's one bomb, so... And it actually hit! That's incredible. Unfortunately, the torpedo missed and it just went in front of the Shoukaku. And there's the game. Excellent. It actually went a lot better than I expected. You know, I don't play carriers anymore, so I'm very, very rusty. But it still worked out really well. Well, decently at least. I got a Witherer, 17 bomb hits, but only 7 torpedo hits, but I did shoot down 41 planes, I guess. And actually, quite many of them were in a defensive posture. That was not enough to be number 1, but I compliment both because they were very important in trying to win this game, especially this Bayern. Like, that guy ages so many Shoukaku drops. Honestly though, I compliment the Shoukaku because of the amount of XP he got, but I don't know if he really deserves it. Yes, he got more XP than I did. If they had won, his number would have been higher, but I don't know, he seemed to actually be doing manual drops towards the end. So maybe I'm giving him too much credit or something. But regardless, 134,000 damage, and I got a Witherer, so you saw this damage over time effect. Unfortunately, this only gave me 74,000 credits profit, so yeah, the motivation to actually play carriers for making any kinds of money is really poor, because, well, a game like this, or you know, this kind of quality game on a Kutuzov would have made me 500,000 credits. Oh well, it is what it is. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I would like to thank the Patreons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Daniel Paquin. And I hope I see you guys next time.